Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. Today I'm putting together a dried gouache palette. Actually, I'm putting together two. One will be cool colors and one will be warm colors for the most part. So I hope you join me. So I have these little credit card holders that I got on Amazon. They're very, very lightweight. And I made this watercolor palette out of it for my husband and I. And I wanted to do the same for gouache because I've been very interested in a dried gouache palette. But part of what I dislike about my current on-the-go smaller gouache palette is that I have trouble getting the brushes in and getting the paint out. And I liked the idea of how big these are. And they're thin. So hopefully that will benefit my ability to re-wet the gouache. I don't know. We're going to see. Anyway, that's what I'm doing today. So I sat down and I figured out what colors I thought I wanted. And I wrote a bunch out. I looked through what I had. I have this book that I carry in my bigger kit. And I have swatched all my colors that I currently have in gouache paint. Except there's another more white, not just permanent white. And so I looked at this and I kind of did a little bit of research and went with what I like to use, etc., and came up with a palette. Like I said, really two palettes because they're so small. They're so portable. I thought I really didn't want to have to limit myself too much because I know the benefit of a very small palette and color mixing and all that. But when I am out doing plein air and I'm trying to use gouache, which I find takes me longer than painting with watercolor or pastel, I find it a little slower. The more colors I have at the ready that I can use, I don't generally use them straight out of the palette. I generally still mix them a little bit, but I can get to the color I want faster if I have more to choose from. And since time is of the essence when I am out doing plein air, because it's usually too warm, too windy, too cold. You know, it's typical Michigan weather. And so I wanted to make it quicker. So that's why I did what I did. When I'm done, I'm going to show you how I put these together. And then I will do a quick tour at the end of my two kits as they are. And then what I am seeing myself replacing with these new ones. So let's get started. So this was my rough idea of what colors I want. And then I narrowed it down more and I have it to what I actually think I'm going to use. So you can tell I was at the kitchen table with a bunch of envelopes that I just decided I would use the backs of those instead of getting a clean sheet of paper. I do have a swatch card all ready to go for both of them. And I bought these little tins on Amazon. I will link everything below. And people had said they had trouble with them rusting, so I sprayed them with a clear coat of Rust-Oleum before I started. For some reason, this Rust-Oleum is duller than the ones I did today. It must have been a glossy finish. So that's what I have for the pans I'm filling today. The new pans that I just sprayed. I'm filling them all today. Let me rephrase that. So it will be 3 on the top. They are the same pans. And then 4 on the bottom. Where's my last little guy? Come out wherever you are. Where did I put him? Oh well, I have another one in here. Okay, so this is my box, my really cool box that I got. It had a antique store, and this slides. It was so pretty. And I collect wooden boxes. And it's got all sorts of things for palette making. That's these things. I've got half pans, and I've got full pans, and I've got little teeny weeny clear pans, and some that have paint in them that are my spares of, this is my Kremer Bright Gold Pearl. These little things I saved because I thought that they could possibly be used as a pan. It came off some furniture or something. They have a little hole in them. So anyway, what else do I have in here? I have my, where did it go? I have all my extra pans for my portable painter palettes, and those are right here. So anything like that goes in this box. These are, I got 6 of these on Amazon. There's a gold one like the one I used here. They are a little beat up somewhat. I don't know how they shipped them. I got them so long ago. But there were 2 black ones, 2 silver ones, and 2 bronzy colored ones. This one is another treated one. And since I'm not selling them, they're just for my personal use. I'm not as picky. So I'm going to cover these back up and set them aside. And these are the 2 I'm going to fill. Hopefully this being glossy isn't going to be a problem. I wanted to deter rust from accumulating, which is why I sprayed them. That's the only reason. So my colors, oh, I know why there's one. I was doing this downstairs, and I had already filled one pan with cerulean blue, and I thought, you know what, this might be interesting for you guys to see what I'm doing. So I thought, oh, I'll come up here and I will tape it, record it, shall I say. So this is the one I don't need. So anyway, first I'm going to show you, hold on, how I prepared, should put it away, one of these business card holders. So I have one of the business card holders. Words will come to me. And if you see how it is, let's do this. It has this lip here. And I didn't really want that because it hides a lot of my mixing space or my paint grabbing space. Oh my God, in the shot. And so anyway, I want to cut that off. I did that on this one. See how it's trimmed off? That's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna trim that off. I'll show you how I did it. Anyway, I had this cardboard and I just cut a bunch till I got a high enough stack that I could slide it in there, and it was nice and tight right up against it. I just kept cutting more scrap. And then I have this cute little ruler, and I took the cute little ruler and clamped it down. I want to make sure, if possible, that I don't cut off more than this lip is. I don't want to cut it like down there. So I am trying to make sure that that's where I'm going to end up, and that it's straight if possible. There he is. And then I'm going to score this with my utility knife. Okay, let's look at it and see how far I got. I try and do it on the slow and steady wins the race motto. Once you have a good line going, you can take the clamps and stuff off. But let's see. In order to see really if I've made any progress, I have to take the cardboard out. And then I can kind of see if I can work it. Oh, it's still pretty stuck. Okay, let's do some more. Let's see, I bent that one down a little bit. No, it doesn't want to go in. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to use my previous line that's pretty much got a groove in it now. Just very slowly, very carefully. If I did not wear glasses, I would probably put on some safety goggles just to be on the safe side. If you get hung up, don't just yank at it, just slow and steady. I have to be honest, sometimes I have my husband do this part just because it really makes me a little nervous. But I did 2 of them this morning, so I'm okay. Now, see, it's bending a little bit on that line. Let me lift it. You can get it to the point where you can work it back and forth. It'll pop off, and there you go. Then I took an emery board, brought it up here, and sandpaper, anything like that'll do, and I gave it a good sand. This side, I am not really worrying about if I scratch up the inside, just not important to what I'm doing. If I was, I'd probably get something else and be a little more careful about this whole thing, because I just don't want to cut myself when I go to paint, which if there's a way for me to do it, I probably would. Okay. This is the advantage to it being really, really thin metal. But see, now I can go like this, and voila, I can get to all my paint. Now, you're probably wondering what these are on. This is a magnetic credit card backing. It's peel and stick, and it works really nicely on these. I just stick that down. Got that on Amazon also, and put my paint down. And I can move my paint around. I can move my colors around if I change my mind, if I don't like one of the colors I picked isn't working or I'm not using it. It makes it really easy. I also taped off this right in that little crease right there, and taped off that, and took it outside and spray painted this area white for mixing on this one. And I did not do it on this one, and it's not really a problem, but on black I thought I should. So if I was going to do the black one, I did the silver one too. So I'm waiting for those to dry right now. And one bubbled up a little bit, had some spots where it didn't want to paint. So I waited and sanded it and then gave it another coat. And so it's going to take a few more coats for that to work. But in the meantime, I'm going to fill my palette so my palette has time to dry. So, like I said, I already did the cerulean blue. So I'm going to put him over there. The colors I ended up with were primary yellow in my cool palette. It's primary yellow, alizarin crimson, turquoise blue, leaf green, Jane's gray, which is a Daniel Smith, Cadmium-Free red, which is a Windsor Newton. Oh no, I'm looking at two things. I'm going, that's not right. Leaf green, Jane's gray. Oh, tree color. That's going to be a mix of my own. And then black, I have primary black. So that's there. So we're missing that one because I have to mix it. And the other colors I have, now let's Titan Gold Ochre, Cadmium-Free red. There's my Cadmium-Free red. Cerulean blue. That was a Holbein color. Moss. Am I still on there? Yeah. Moss. Burnt Sienna, which is in my hand. Sand, which is going to be a mixed color that I do myself. And Sepia. Where's my Sepia? These are the ones, I only brought up the ones that I'm using for this. And right now, I think for my tree color, what I typically like is a dark brown and some Payne's gray. So that's why I have the Van Dyke brown. And for my sand, I'm going to use the burnt umber and a little brilliant pink. And we'll see. I might have to add a little bit to those as I'm going, because it's kind of a see where I'm at kind of proposition. I don't have a specific ratio of anything. It's just what I usually go to for watercolor. So I'm assuming that I'd probably be in the same boat for gouache. Now, when I get to those, I might want a little white in this sand, just pre-mixed in it. I'm not sure. So if I do, I'm going to go get a tube of that. I do have some white gouache here, but my white gouache has watercolor blending medium in it to keep it really moist, which I really like. And that's what I will probably have a little tube of, or a little, not a tube, like a little jar. For my big kit, I have this big jar. For my little one, I'm not sure if it's in it or not, because it isn't really plein air season in Michigan. Let me see. I have a little one. Yeah, nope, that's not it. I will find it and show it to you when I show you my kits at the end. It was a little hand sanitizer bottle that was empty, and I filled that with white gouache and the watercolor blending medium from Windsor Newton, which is what this is right here. And it really works really well. I do like having it that way. So my white paint will still be not dried. I do use it dried, but I prefer it not dried. So that's what I'll bring with me for these kits. So what I have here is a lot of dust from slicing that thing. I have this cool little palette knife that worked really well for my cerulean, so I'm going to keep using that. So let's go ahead and fill the rest of this palette. This is these ones down here. That one goes to that one. And I'm not going to talk, so I can speed this part up so this doesn't end up being ridiculously long, because there's not all that much to say. Maybe I'll talk through one of them and then speed up the rest of them, because I'm trying to put out, I tried to avoid any, there's a little binder, tried to avoid putting any paint that is honey based, like the M grams. I steered away from anything I had that was M gram for this because I want it to dry. I wasn't sure how that would work when they have stuff in them to keep them moist. So I'm just gonna put out a little. Let me make sure I'm in a good spot where I'm doing this. These pans aren't big, but they hold a surprising amount. Boy, that one is very liquidy. Hopefully Windsor & Newton isn't also one of those, because I didn't think it was, but you know, some colors just do it too. So let's get you there. That just like oozed into it. Oh well, this is all a big experiment anyway. Okay, there's my basic colors, and I have to do my two mixes. I got this heavily influenced by, I got this idea heavily influenced by Sarah Burns, and also Steve Mitchell was talking about it, and just different things I picked up from them when they were trying to do it, about really pushing the paint down there, and sometimes it cracks and you can, you know, top it off and such. But I thought that these little flat pans would render themselves very nicely to this process because they are so flat and so thin. But you could see I got a lot of paint in them. So this is kind of, I hope this is the best of both worlds. So I need to do my mixes for these two other pans. And let's give that a try. I want something flat I can mix in so that I can scrape it up and put it in the bucket, in the pan. Am I in a good spot? Okay, let's see. This one is sand, and this one is tree. So sand, I like pink in my sand. I find there's always, at least the beach that I'm painting, always has some pink in it. This is on my refill list, can you tell? So we'll see how much I manage to mix. Might have to use some other colors too. I paint on the shores of Lake Huron a lot, on the eastern side. We have a family cottage that is on Lake Huron, and so I am painting sand a lot. Look at this little guy. You fit. Not the best. That side's better. I don't have all my paint up here, so I'm trying to just do it with what I've got. And my pink is really dried, which will probably help in this instance, but right now mixing it is a trick. It's a good beachy sand color once you add white. I am not going to get a whole pan out of this. It will be a little one. Partly because I just didn't have enough pink to mix a lot. I was kind of going to be hemmed in by that. I could tell from the beginning. I don't know if you can hear it, but my cat is sitting over there, well, laying over there in the sun, snoring. Very sweet. I'm going to do the last one, which is my tree color, and I am going to use Van Dyke Brown and Payne's Gray. So hopefully these will dry and not shrink too much, especially my sand color. And I think the pink is dead. We're just going to pitch that. Let's see if we can swatch them real quick. And then I will go through my other gouache kits. Okay. Now I have to let these dry. Also, the top part that I painted white, this part, I have to wait for that to dry and cure before I want to use it to mix paint on it. So I was a little anxious to get these things going and started and drying. Just set them aside. I'm going to need to find a spot that the cats won't step on them, because that would be bad. So let me just clean up and then I will show you my gouache kits. Okay, so this is my main gouache kit, for lack of a better term. I don't generally pull out gouache and go direct from the tube at home even. This would be what I would use. And I found this bag at Salvation Army, and it's really nice. It's probably worth way more than what I should be putting gouache in it, but that's what I do, and I like it. This is a little ATC card if I want to paint something small like that. This has the Windsor Newton blending medium, watercolor blending medium in it, and it's just in a little, oh, I thought I pulled off, little squeezy bottle. Doesn't leak. It's really nice. I think I got that at American Scientific in Chicago. I think that's what it's called. But you can get similar things at the dollar store and on Amazon. Some tissues, some bug spray. If you know my kits, I always have bug spray. And I usually have sunscreen too, but I don't know if I do in this one right now. Besides that, I don't take this one out maybe necessarily all the time, because sometimes I'm just painting at home. This has got clove bud oil, just a little drop of it in water, and I sprayed this on the paints to keep them from molding. Got a little piece of eraser, some Viva paper towel, some tape. This is medical tape. I like the medical tape to tape off my paper when I want to do that. This is a stupid little mirror that my husband got at, I think at Ollie's. I don't know. But that's in there. So that's that stuff. On this side, I have my gouache with the watercolor medium mixed in, my bigger tube of it. This is just water. On this side, I have my Etcher paintbrushes, gouache paintbrushes that I love. And I have a few extra things in here also. I have a liner brush and a big fat one. I have a piece of plastic in here so that it doesn't bend when I roll it up and my brushes won't get mushed. So that's that. Fits nicely over here. And then in the main kit, just gonna pull this stuff out. I have 2 sketchbooks and 2 palettes. One is full, one is not. I think that's it for that area. I have some distilled water. That's this paper towel. I have a binder clip, because you never know when you're going to need a binder clip. And then I have some palette knives. And I have the little one I was using, and these other ones that are a little bit bigger, medium-sized. I'm assuming they come way bigger, but when you paint with watercolor and gouache, you don't use the big giant ones. Anyway, so this is full, this one. I did just clean them, but they still look a little funky because some of the paint got kind of dry, and so it's kind of a mix. So that one's full. This one has my newer stuff in it, is not full. But this is every color I have right now. And that's there. So you can tell this one's a nicer shape because they're newer. And I don't mind painting out of these. But by the same token that I find too little colors frustrating and I can't go fast enough, in some ways these ones that have so many colors are kind of frustrating because there's just so many choices. So those are in there. This I use for mixing. It's an old core tin from a watercolor set. And I have this extra piece of plastic board that has a name. I will put it in the description because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's a nice little plastic board, and that works well. Obviously needs to be cleaned up a little bit. This is a really, really cheap notebook from, I think, Dollarama in Canada, and on this one I tape them off with wide tape, which I don't have any of in my bag right now, but that's what's in here. And I think I've gotten a little further in there. That's 9, 20, 22. I've been at it for a while. That one's a 23. So there's that. And then I have this book, which my son got me for Christmas. We were down in Chile for my other son's wedding, and we were in Valparaiso, which unfortunately has been ravaged with wildfires just really recently, and it's very sad. And we were in a little gift shop, and they had this handmade book, and I liked it and found it under the Christmas tree the next year because we were there at Christmas. And this one is not taped off mostly. I think I might have taped off. I don't know. Maybe I didn't tape off any in this book. There, I taped off that one. See, and that one, but not that one. I keep, there we go. That's the most recent one I've done. That was at our local Metro Park. But I keep this piece of plastic in there because this paper really isn't, I mean, it does good. It's not bleeding through. But it just makes me nervous because it gets pretty wet when you're working on it. Same with that paper. I like to stick this in between the sheets. And then I showed you the back of this where I have my, all the colors I have. These were my old King Art ones that just drove me crazy. And I just said, I can't paint with those anymore and gave them away. So this is for viewfinding, and this is my new swatch sheet with all my colors. So that's what's in my big kit. And it works really well for me. Oh, I missed a spot. There's my big tape and some paper towel. Oh, and I have this little thing for the water. I had the water. This is what I put it in. I think this had business cards in it. I always like to keep business cards with me, but I think I gave them away and forgot to refill it. So I have to remember to do that. I like to lay these in here flat so that they don't, if they decided they were going to, you know, jump ship, they wouldn't be able to go very far. So that's that. It's a really nice little backpack. Then we have my small one that's just a little more portable, a little more basic or down, pared down, in my daughter's old Powerpuff Girls backpack that I found in the basement. This one, what I used for my watercolor or my gouache was one of these little guys, and with one of these, and they pop open. If you watch Sarah Burns or other people, I'm sure have shown this little thing. It's a little version of the ones that I had in the other box, and this fits on there and it keeps them moist. Well, I'm in the process of letting them dry out and using this palette next to my bed with a notebook, which I have right here, this little sketchbook, and where I can just do little paint studies with minimal work, minimal effort. And I'm not trying to keep it wet, so I don't use that anymore. This can hold water. Although I never really used it that much for that. I was influenced by Sarah Burns's tree trunks. I always liked to do tree trunks since I was a little kid. So I was playing around with that anyway. And I think that's where this one actually is going to go now, is that's all going to go next to my bed. Then I am going to put my new palettes. Oh, this is my swatch sheet, which has magnet on the back, and that has a little magnet I sewed there, so when my bag is sitting there open, I could see what colors I had. So I might have to do some kind of thing on the one I just did to make it work for that. Didn't think about that, to tell you the truth, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, I have another little piece of that plastic stuff. Dibond, that's what it's called. It's called Dibond. And my husband got scraps of it at work. It's not really readily available, I don't think. This came with that little palette knifey thing I was using. I'll show you that one. And another little mirror thing, some paper towel, little bottle of spray bottled water, a wet one. This is the little Purell container that's got white gouache in it. That's got the watercolor medium in it. And this is the little pad I use when I go out with this one. I got this in Muskegon when we went there for Irish Fest in this nice little store. It's really thin paper, not meant for painting on at all, but it works and I like it. So that's what this is. I don't have any problems with it bleeding through, again, even though you would think you would. It's kind of fun to paint really, really tiny. I think that's the last one. Nope, there's one more. Winter. And I have this little card that I made to fit right up against those with my paper punchy thing. So I have that just like that. And I really find that works really well. And then in this little guy, I have all my tools. Don't have the best paintbrushes in here. I have the nice ones in my bigger kit. I just have a piece of foam core there to try and keep it flat. Piece of credit card for scraping, assorted brushes, various and sundry. None of them are stellar. These blue ones are Princeton's. Those ones are okay. Those ones are nice. The rest of them are just kind of cheap brushes. But I have those. I have a pencil. I have a palette knife. And I have the little thing that came with this thing. And then this is a paintbrush from the dollar store that if I want a bigger swath, I can use that. So that's what's in there. Now this is where I'm intending to put the two things that I just made. Or who knows, maybe I'll even go smaller, because now that I don't have that big thing in here, I might be able to go into a smaller bag than Powerpuff Girls. So future me, just a few things I wanted to tell you that I noticed I had forgotten, and I didn't realize it till I was watching it. That was my water, the water bladder. I was moving them around. I can't remember why, and it kind of got out of here, and so did the container to pour it into to use it. I have there's two sides, so I can have a clean one and a dirty one. And I just wanted you to know that those things were in here also. So that is that. And now I'm going to write down the names of the colors, because I didn't do that yet on my swatch sheet. So let me just get in here a little closer and get those filled in before I lose the piece of paper that tells me what they are, and then I don't remember, because that will happen to me. That's just how my life works. So if you liked this video or you got anything out of it, I would really appreciate a like. And if you want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of future videos, hit the cute little bell. You could always buy me a cup of coffee. There's a link in the description if you want to help me keep producing videos. That would be lovely. Let's see, this is primary yellow. Probably can't talk and write at the same time, because I just probably can't. Alizarin crimson. I think Liz will work. Crimson. Okay, and this is turquoise. It's a something turquoise. Turquoise blue. Silly me. And leaf green. And Jane's gray. And tree brown. And black. It's a primary black, I think. Yeah. That'll do. And then we have titanium, gold, ochre, and Cadmium-Free red. And Cerulean blue. Oh, there's a good one to spell. And moss green, burnt sienna, this is sand, and this one is sepia. Now, what I might do is attach something to the top of them that I can put a magnet on, so I can stick this to the bag if I keep using that bag. We'll have to see about that. Anyway, so I hope this was fun and not too terribly long, and maybe you'd like to make your own palette like these. I will try and put everything that I can tell you where to find it in the description, and keep an eye out, because I am going to paint the tops of mine with alcohol ink soon. As soon as they're all cured on the inside, I can paint the top of them, and I might do a video on that, so you could watch that process too if you're interested in doing one of these. So anyway, until next time, please check out my Etsy shop, where I have prints of my artwork along with cute little monsters and little tins with painting on them for sale. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.